Hello, Black women. Happy Friday. Today, I'm going to share with you at least 5 things I learned during my son's most recent surgery and hospital stay. Hey, everyone. My name is Rushni, and I am a healing journey coach for Black and West Indian women. I help Black and West Indian women change their lives. I'm also a content creator and a special needs mom, and I create humor filled healing spaces like the one you're in, that's going to be slightly unserious, so that other Black women can heal too. If you are new here or if you are true here, drop a pineapple in the chat. Tell me where you are watching from. I am live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. I gave up on Twitter X because Twitter X gave up on me. Amen. Amen. And so, as you heard me say, I am the mom of a son with special needs. My son just had a very major surgery, and I decided to hop in on this beautiful Friday, gloomy Friday, here in Missouri, and let you guys know at least 5. I said at least 5 because I'd be coming up with other stuff, but I wrote down 5 lessons that I have learned from my son's most recent hospital stay and surgery. Amen. Amen. So, before I go on, you heard me say I'm a coach, and I wanted to share a few things with you guys that are exciting. Okay, exciting. First of all, if you heard me say that I was working on my coaching certification, I am, and I will be graduating next month. You guys, last year I decided to finally go and become a certified life coach. I have been in a year-long program, and I will be graduating from that program next month. Okay. Um, Also, if you would like to work with me, the link is on the screen. However, more on what's coming up later. Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, last time I did a live, you guys, I was having issues with seeing people's comments. Okay, I just saw a comment come in. And this time I'm onto it. So I probably should open up, let me go. I'm going to open up the YouTube, actual direct YouTube link, and not because now I have technology PTSD. Okay. Now I don't think that I can see you guys. So if you hear, let me open it up for a second before we go to make sure that I'm seeing the comments. I see you, S. Oliver. Thank you for my pineapple from Raleigh, North Carolina. I see you, hon. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a year. It's been a year. If you guys have seen what I've been going through with my son's medical stuff, it's been a year. Yet and still, your girl has been up. I finished all my graduation requirements in June or July, and the reason why was because surgery season had me all the way messed up. And so your girl was trying to be ahead, and then surgery got postponed, and then she decided, well, what do I do at this time? And so I did practically everything I was supposed to do. Let me click in here. Give me a second here to make sure I could actually see, just in case, because I don't trust it anymore. I don't trust it. Okay. I don't trust it. There we go. All right. Yeah, I am seeing everybody's comments so far. I don't trust StreamYard anymore. StreamYard is tripping. All right, you guys. So let's talk about 5 things I learned during my son's last surgery and his last hospital stay. I believe that last year, 2 things before I start. I believe last year I did a comparable video to this after my son's hospital stay in October, which we'll get into. And it was called, I'm looking at it right now, Lessons from Life's Dark Moment, Adversity. I might change the title of that, but I will go back and put a link to that video down below. So that video is a comparable video to this one, but I'm going to just, and I meant to go back and rewatch it so that I don't share the same things. But honestly, if I share the same things, then you know it's a lesson I learned. Amen. Okay, because the lesson was learned. Your girl didn't have time to go back and watch it because I'm still doing stuff that has to do with surgery. Amen. Love from your sister in Canada. Thank you. Love back from your sister in Missouri. All right. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I started a new podcast. Super excited about it. It's called I've Created a Monster. I believe I put the link to the first podcast episode and the new podcast YouTube channel is a separate channel in the information box of the video. It is called I've Created a Monster, and the YouTube channel is at Monster Created. At Monster Created. On the first episode, I went into one, why I created a new podcast, two, why I named it I've Created a Monster. And I went into depth and detail about what happened during my son's hospital stay, this last hospital stay at the end of September and the beginning of October. So if you want to have a bit more detail, 'cause I'm not going to go into full detail here, you got to click on the link in the information box or go to @monster_created on YouTube. Matter of fact, let me see. Can I? Give me a second. Let me see if I could drop it in the comments. And watch the first episode. Okay. Did I put it down there? I put the new podcast episode. I didn't put the actual. Give me a second. You guys deserve to see this. Okay. I'm putting this in the comments for you guys before I start. So if you want details on what actually went down, because it was a lot, I just put a comment with the actual podcast episode. When you go there, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, and you can also get more details, okay, on what actually went down when we were at the hospital, like all the nitty gritty, all the nits and the grits, okay? But today I wanted to talk about lessons I have learned. Lessons I have learned. Give me a second. YouTube is still doing what it's doing. Open. All right. I want to make sure I can see the chat, okay? Because I have PTSD from the last time. You just subscribed. Thank you. Thank you. It's going to be a good time. And this is the first time that I'm actually putting stuff on a podcast platform. So it's also on Spotify. If you go to the link I just dropped in the comments and then go in the information box, the Spotify link should be there. I think. I'm not sure. I know I put it on the community tab of this channel. Also, just so you know, Patreon members on this channel get to watch the taping live. So if you want to support me as a creator, if you want to support the healing of another Black woman financially, and you want to get all kinds of exclusive videos, perks, and the capacity to be in the comments of me with me live when I am taping that new podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/glamazini. Okay, let's get into the 5 things that I've learned during my son's most recent hospital stay. Very brief backstory. My son was born with special needs. He is currently a 12-year-old, and he has spina bifida myelomeningocele, which is the most severe version of spina bifida. Spina bifida means that your spine did not close properly when you were in utero, and it can range from spina bifida occulta, which is hidden spina bifida, which honestly, you could be sitting here with hidden spina bifida. Spina bifida occulta is the most common birth defect, period. There are people walking around right now that have a small opening in their spine and they have no idea. It could be anything. It could be a little tuft of hair at the bottom of your back. It could be a little bit of a back pain that you deal with. And you would have to actually go to a doctor and be like, whoa, what in the world? All the way to the extreme version, which is what my son has, which is myelomeningocele. Okay. Because of my son's spina bifida, it manifests itself in a lot of different things, one of which is scoliosis, which is curvature of the spine, right? Curvature of the spine specifically because of low muscle innervation. Hopefully that's making sense. We tracking good. So all these years we've known that my son was going to have a surgery that was going to be necessary to help with his spine. That surgery is a spinal fusion, right? What does that mean, Rashni? They actually go into my son's back, they add in rods, and then over time, the bones fuse. The rods hold him up kind of like scaffolding. The bones in his vertebra fuse together, and it basically makes an internal scaffolding, right? That became necessary because, as you heard me allude to, last year, we spent 9 nights total in the hospital, 4 in January or February because of a respiratory failure situation, 1 for a sleep study that was necessary because of the respiratory failure situation, and 4 more because the school dropped my son off on my doorstep on October 17th of 2023 with a broken leg and respiratory failure, and nobody noticed. Okay. Yes, I said that. It is what it is. Videos exist about it. It was traumatizing. That's not what this video is about. Okay. So this year, we went to the hospital for 2 nights earlier this year to titrate a BiPAP machine, which was, not that big of a deal, but it was still 2 nights in the PICU. And then as the year went on, he was slated to have this major surgery. The surgery date moved. The surgery date moved again. The surgery date was playing Where's Waldo with us. Eventually, we got to the surgery date in September. The surgery started. The surgery had to be stopped temporarily We spent a week in the hospital in between surgeries, which was not the plan. Okay, which was not the plan. It did not go down as we wanted it to, and you're gonna have to listen to the podcast episode to hear the whole deal. And then they finished the surgery on October 2nd. We spent another week in the hospital. So it ended up being 12 nights, I think, total in the hospital for this stay. So 14 nights total this year. And my son has been out of the hospital for 2 weeks. Amen. Amen. That's the most abbreviated version I could give you. If you want more, you can have a Toyota. Okay. There are videos in the information box. I'll go back and put some if you want more. Okay. I'll just put the playlist with all his information. You could get into it, get deep into it. Okay. If you are a special needs mom, I understand. Okay. They might not understand, but I got you, girl. So here's 5 things I learned while I was in the hospital with my son. The first thing I learned, and before I go on, think about these things, you guys. If you are not a person who is a caretaker yet, because a lot of us have parents and we don't know this life until we got it, right? If you're a person who has never gone through something like this, you can still use these things to help change your life when it comes to how you deal with adversities. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. First thing I learned is to learn from the past. To learn from the past. What does that mean, Rushni? It means you heard me say that I spent 9 nights in the hospital with my son in 2023. I had spent 2 nights in the hospital with my son in 2024 so far. And I spent 12 additional nights with this whole surgery debacle, okay, at the end of the year. That means that I'm not new to this when it comes to staying in the hospital. I am true to this. I have to say that this last hospital stay was the best hospital stay I've ever had. What a weird thing to say. What do you mean by that, Rushni? It meant I knew how to go to the hospital successfully and stay in the room with my son successfully. Why? Because I learned from the past and I created the experience that I desired. How, Rushni? First of all, when we go to the hospital, my husband and I like to stay in the room with my son. We are not people who kind of like drop off our kid and then go home. We could, because we have a great medical system here in our city and we don't have to like travel from out of town. So we could go back and forth and just leave our kid at the hospital. We did not do that when we did that when he was in the NICU because we were not allowed to sleep in the hospital. So we would get there at 7 and we would leave at 7. We get back at 7 for 5 weeks straight. But now that he's in the PICU, we are allowed to stay in the room and we do. Okay. So there's a sleep bench convertible situation in the back that my husband will lay on, right? I don't like that because the way my back is set up, the way I'm almost 50 is set up, the way my back is playing with me is set up, I can't sleep on that thing. Okay, I don't want to sleep on that thing. And there's a recliner chair that I have become very acquainted with. Okay. This time when I went to the hospital, because I've done it so often, I knew exactly what to ask for to be comfortable when I'm sleeping. Okay. And I knew exactly what to bring with me. This time, you guys, I brought a heating pad. I put that heating pad right at the base of my back. I put the chair back exactly where I needed to be. I have the right amount of pillows and the sheets that I needed. Okay. I plugged that heating pad in. I went to sleep. I woke up feeling better every morning on that freaking chair than I've been feeling on my bed because I learned from the previous experiences. I also knew what to wear at the hospital, okay? Because we've had so many experiences, emergent experiences, like the leg break last year, where I wasn't able to prepare. I had to just be down at the hospital all willy-nilly. This time, I knew what it was going to be like sleeping in the hospital. I knew what it was going to be like living in a room that doesn't have a shower in it, because the PICU's room do not have showers in it. I knew exactly what I needed. I even knew what it would be like to have my period while I was down there, because one of these days from the previous time, I had my period and my period was slated to start. Too much information, but we're here now. It's not too much information because most of my audience is women and y'all got periods. Okay. You either have one or you had one. Okay. And so when I tell you I did everything the right way this time, these braids, I knew that fighting with my hair was not what I wanted. I grabbed leftover bags of hair in my closet, called my friend before surgery season, said, ma'am, I don't even care what these braids look like. Put them on in my head loosely so I could put them in a bun. so I could put it in a bun. So I could put it in a bun. If you get that reference, let me know. Uh, I got my edges back. Sorry. Right? Called her. If I took these braids down right now, y'all would be like, girl, what's going on? The whole intention of these braids was to be able to put them up on a bun on top of my head so I could sleep in the hospital. Blue Eye says, you got it. So I could put it in a bun. I love that TikTok. I love those TikToks. They're so cute. Anyway, right? Didn't have to fight with my hair. I wore basically the same clothes. I have a comfortable hospital outfit that consists of my black hoodie because it's comfortable. It's warm when I'm sleeping at night if I'm too cold. It's perfect. I don't wear no other hoodie. I wear the same hoodie. I wear my black vesties because ain't nobody got time for these other shoes to be hurting up my feet. And I wear a Free People onesie. If you watch my stories online on Instagram when I was doing this whole thing in the hospital, I basically wore 3 different Free People onesies in rotation. Why? They're comfortable. There's no waistband to be messing with me. When I bend over, I don't have to worry about anything showing because I have to do a lot of bending because I have a son in a wheelchair, right? Nothing's showing in the front here. I just showed y'all my bra, but y'all know what a bra is. Focus, okay? No weight, nothing's tugging, nothing's pulling. I could sleep in it. And so the lesson I learned is to just learn from the past. It wasn't about being cute. It wasn't about being perfect. It wasn't about even having the outfit look the way I wanted to. Do you think I wanted to wear that black hoodie with the black vesties with my little Free People onesies? No, I could be cuter than that. I didn't have any jewelry on. I went down there learning from what I had went through before. We knew exactly what to bring. It was almost a little too perfect. Like I told my husband, I was like, we do this too much because this stay went off without a hitch. Like we knew what to do. So that's the first lesson. The first lesson I learned from this season is learn from the past and curate exactly the experience that you want to have, down to your snacks, down to your coffee, down to your clothes, down to your comfort, right? Down to it all. We even knew about alternating who gets to go back and forth from the hospital to the house to shower. And, there are showers in a family room that I don't like to shower down there. So we tend to want to go back home and, drop things off, pick things up, whatever. The system was systeming and it was exquisite. Okay. If there was like a score for our execution of this hospital stay, 10s across the board. It was part of me was a little sad for the fact that I know how to do it so well. Okay. So the first thing I did was I learned from the past. Do not recreate the wheel, you guys. Don't recreate the wheel. It's easy. Easy like Sunday morning. It's easy. If you pay attention to what worked in the past, weed out the rest of it. Did I want to wear my dad's jacket to the hospital because it makes me feel like I'm being comforted and wrapped by my father? Yes. Have I worn my dad's jacket to the hospital in the past for overnight stays? Yes. But did it work out better than the black hoodie? No, it didn't. Because my dad's jacket is a little thinner and it doesn't do what the black hoodie does when I need it to be that way in the hospital. So have I relegated my dad's jacket to, day of check-ins at the hospital, like yesterday when we had to go down there for a checkup? Yes. It's easy like Sunday morning when you learn from the past. Second thing I learned is to ask for help, accept the help when it comes, ask for support, and also tell people no. Boundaries, okay? Boundaries, oh, boundaries. Now, I know y'all ain't gonna know that reference. Boundaries. Y'all don't know that song. See, you gotta be the saints. You gotta be the old saints. Boundaries, surely God wants you to have boundaries. Okay, ask for help. This time when I went down there, I learned from the past, and realized that I needed help, and support. How so, Rushni? Because in the past times I was down at this hospital, one of the biggest stressors, you hearing what I'm saying, was not only that my son was going through active hell with the medical stuff, it was the fact that I have to manage other people. Now, here's the thing. This is a tricky subject to navigate, but I feel like I can navigate it. I feel like I can navigate it, right? When people are going through difficult seasons, like a family member has passed away, like a family member is in the hospital, the socially acceptable way of showing up is to text them, to call them, to like surprise them at the hospital and visit. However, as a person who has been on the receiving end of those well-meaning outreaches, you are making a plan to pop up on Sunday at 2:00, but so is everyone else. Or you're popping up at Sunday at 2, somebody coming at 2:30, somebody coming at 5, somebody coming at 6, somebody was there at 10. And between y'all and the doctors, it's a miracle anybody heals. And I know that it sounds like, you know how people say first world problems? It sounds like well-loved problems, okay? Because some people have nobody coming to visit them in the hospital, and then some people have a fire hose of humans coming to visit them. I remember when I gave birth to my son, they had to literally remove the second hospital bed out of my room and bring in a bunch of chairs because it was like 30 people up in my room having a party. Okay. These are well-loved problems. But let me tell you what, that is a stressor like nobody's business. When you are going through really difficult emergent things with your family member, having people coming and trying to give you things they gave you and popping up, getting phone calls. We downstairs. It's a lot because for you, it's one visit to the hospital. But for me, it's 7 people 3 days in a row while I'm going through this thing, right? Same thing with the phone calls and the texts, right? I just saw a friend whose family member passed away, and I've seen 2 people do this recently. She had to post on the internet, like, you guys, I love you. I'm literally mourning. I'm freaked out and I'm trying to plan a memorial service. Getting 20 texts in one day is not the business. And I think that people who have been privileged with not having life kick them in their teeth don't understand this. And that's why, because in their mind, they're like, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. I want to show up for you. Great. So what did you do, Rushni? The first thing I did was, before surgery even happened, I'm talking about back in like April when I thought surgery was going to be in May. Exactly. It's overwhelming and it's overstimulating for a person who is already going through a very difficult situation. Yeah. So back in April, you know what I did? I set up a text message thread with 5 or 6 of my top core people. And the specific ask I had of them was, 1, I need you guys to be my communications liaisons. I will not sit in a hospital room wondering if my son is alive or not, while also having to manage texting people the same thing 25 times. I'm cutting and copying and pasting, and they think they got access to me, and I'm telling them they have access to me because I don't have no boundaries. Okay. They talking to me, I'm talking back to them. So of course they think they could text me. They don't realize that I'm texting 30 people while I'm supposed to be managing my son, right? And I'm stressed out. So I put this group together. I text those people and I said, hi, this is what I need from you. You need to be the person communicating everything in this family group chat. You need to be the person communicating everything in this other family group chats. And I have the 2 family sides taken care of. You need to be communicating everything into this Facebook group for me. Yes. You need to be communicating everything into this friend group chat. Yes. You, my virtual assistant, you need to be communicating everything into this other Facebook group. I did the best. I am going to communicate things to you guys one time for your holy mind. Ebasha. I felt that in my nervous system, so I know I did it right. It was so wonderful, you guys. I was like, y'all, I'm going to tell you guys one time. Y'all going to tell them. Everybody run out and tell your people in your specific places. And then when they ask questions, you answer their questions. I felt it all over the room they stand in. You answer the questions. I asked people to do this before we even went to the hospital. I think I asked them in April. And they all said, yes, I will do it. I wrote back to them and I said, also, please note that when I am in anxiety causing and stressful situations, I can become very like direct. Okay. It might come off very curt. And that has nothing to do with you. It's just because I'm probably in a hospital. 18 people are talking to me, doctors and nurses and everybody, techs and everybody, oh my, specialties, oh my, okay? And if I just chip you something and it come off curt, please do not take it that way. They all wrote back, they said, I will not. I got it. I said, you stay stable, you stay loving, you stay peaceful, and let me be the person in the emergent thing. And that's exactly what happened, you guys. When surgery was rescheduled, I wrote to them, I said, surgery is rescheduled. They wrote to the other people and said, surgery is rescheduled. When surgery was popping off, I would send them the pictures and I would be clear in their text message thread. I would send one message to them and I would send a picture. I would tell them, you can post this or not. So they were the top core humans in my life and they were getting photographs that everybody else was not seeing, like more intimate photographs of what was going on during the surgery season stuff, during the hospital stay, etc. And I'd be like, do not share this with anybody. Do not share this with anybody, but you can share this. It went off like effing clockwork. Ask for help, you guys. There are people who love you. You know how people be like, what can I do if you need anything from me? What can I do? Take them up on that. Take them up on that. Not only that, I wrote to people when people were like, is there anything that I can do? I didn't know what to write to them. I'm not going to lie. Let me tell y'all something. I went into ChatGPT and I said, ChatGPT, if I am in the hospital with XYZ happening, what are some of the things I could ask people for? It gave me like a list and a lot of it I had already done, which was great. But one of the things, it was like supplies. And I was like, okay, good. Because people are trying to bring me food. No. Can I bring you food down at the hospital? No, actually, no. Please don't. I don't want to be running up and I don't want it. And I am very meticulous about how I eat at the hospital because the last thing I need, like I told you guys, I learned from the past. The last thing I need when I'm in the hospital is the bubble guts because you decided that you wanted to bring me some fancy food you think I can't get in the hospital. And it's fine. Let me eat my bland meal in peace because I'm trying to regulate my somatic experience. I'm trying to have my body be as calm and as healthy as possible. I don't want my brain and my mind to be affected by the fact that you decided to bring me the most big back lunch ever. The doctor's trying to talk to me and I'm comatose because you done bought me a bucket of mac and cheese. You see what I'm saying? Like people mean well. And I know that they do. So I charge it to their heart. Their head, what is it? The head and not their heart, the heart and not head. You know what I mean? But still, I told you, I know exactly what works when I'm in that hospital. And bubble guts does not work. You don't want it. Could you imagine? My son is on death's door and my stomach is the doctor's trying to tell me what's going on and I'm clenching up. Yeah, just because you decided that you want to bring me a big back breakfast? No. So what I did was I had a list of things that were actually, I came up with things that were like dry goods things, specifically something that my son eats a lot and it's hard to find sometimes. I put a photograph, I made a list, I put a photograph of that thing on a little thing in Canva and I sent it out to my group of humans. And was like, if anybody asks you if we need anything, this is what we might need. Literally. And don't bring it to us just yet. bring it to us when we get back to the house. When we are discharged from the hospital, you can drop it off at the house because we will need those supplies then. Guess what's been coming in since we came back from the hospital? The supplies people have been buying who had bought us while we were in the hospital. When I tell you the execution has been flawless. Hello? I wake up flawless, flawless, flawless. I woke up like this. Come on, Pastor Rushni. People just been showing up at the house with specific things I asked for on the list. Hair girl, we got you this. We was running out of paper towel the other day. And, trying to go back and forth to the store is a little prohibitive sometimes when you're doing the aftercare of a surgery because he has issues with some of his healing on the bottom of his back, which is understandable because we knew that was going to happen. Don't worry, it's going really well, but we knew it was going to happen. We literally were running out of paper towel the other day. Somebody called and said, hey, I want to bring you the stuff that we got you. Great. Toilet paper and paper towel. Ain't God all right? So what I learned is to actually ask for help. What I learned is to sit down, think of what I wanted. Practical things, not to just let Auntie Pookie bring me a sweet potato pie. I don't want a sweet potato pie. I need practical stuff. Here is a picture of the thing that my son eats. When you go to Walmart, if you see it, buy all of them off the shelves. Okay, every man for himself and God for us all. I want you to put your hand in the back, cup your fingers this way, scoop it into the cart, and bring it to me. Amen. Because he's a preteen and he eaten me out of house and home and he needs to heal. So now I just have this army of people bringing me supplies that I asked for 3 weeks ago because I actually asked for help. When they were like, can I help you? I said, yes. For some of them, I said, I don't know yet, but let me think about it. Some of them was like, I could bring you stuff at the hospital. No. You know how I knew I didn't want that? Because I told you, nobody don't want bubble guts done at the hospital. I love that you come to visit me, but ma'am, I need to go to bed. You don't have kiki and kakan with me. It's 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I need to go to sleep on this chair with my heating pad. What you doing? And the thing, y'all can see, I love a good time. Okay. It's not people I don't love. Some of the offenders are people I love. So when you come, I'm gonna kiki kaka with you all, and we're gonna kiki all night. We be all night. I can't stop singing today. In love, we be all night. Y'all know the bottom was working it out. You just couldn't see it. So you got to ask for help. To be able to ask for help, you have to know what you want. That's how boundaries come in. I'm always talking to my coaching clients about boundaries. You need to know what your yes is and your no. You need to know what works for you. You need to be able to communicate it to people in love. People want to support you. Let me say that again. People want to support you. I think there was a video I did earlier this year or last year about how to get more of everything immediately. And one of the things you got to do, I told you guys how to get more support in your life is to stop paying attention to the places where you feel unsupported and turn your attention to where you are supported. People out here trying to support you. People out here trying to support you. And you so busy thinking support got to come from these people. Thinking it got to come from these people and mad that they won't support you. Forget them. Come over here. Some of the people that have dropped off things at my house, you would have never thought. Okay. There's a girl here on the internet. I ain't met that girl ever once. We've been online friends for years. She lived here in St. Louis, She inboxed me on Instagram and was like, girl, I live down by the hospital. If you need anything, let me know. And you know what? Because of how she showed up for me on the internet, I knew she would have come. I just told her, I was like, we cool. Let people support you. Really support you. So the second thing I learned was to ask for help, ask for support, actually curate what I wanted, receive it, and also be able to tell people what I did not need, right? Because there's like a canned set of things that people offer people going through situations like grief and hospital stays and stuff that aren't always conducive to the person on the receiving end having a positive experience. But a lot of people feel obligated to take what is being given because they can't sit down and curate their own experience. Okay. But why in the world have a stressful experience made worse by somebody who is trying to do good by you, but you can't communicate to them what you want? Come up with what you want, boo boo. Don't bring me no flowers, okay? Don't bring me my favorite cheesecake. I don't want that, right? Bubble guts in the hospital, okay? My enemies are against me, and you're one of them. Anyway, the third thing I learned, what did I write down here? Things don't always go as you expect, but they still go. That's the third thing I learned. Things don't always go as you expect, but they still go. Let's talk about that for a second. If you listen to the podcast episodes, you will see that my son was supposed to have surgery on September 26th, and he had surgery on September 26th and October 2nd. Okay. And that was not what we expected. And in between there was a whole lot of stuff that we did not expect. So we had one set of expectations going into the hospital, and then at a certain point, we had to just let go and let God have his way. Okay? Because what we expected and what was actually happening was two different things entirely, right? I am convinced that expectations, although useful because you need to have hope and aim at something, I'm not saying to live a life with no expectations, but I'm saying it's complex and it's nuanced. I am convinced that expectations are the biggest cause of heartbreak. And mostly because we are rigid when we put our mind on expectations. I tell my coaching clients all the time, if you think of a target, like a target like you throw darts at, you got to aim at the target. Don't live a life where you're not aiming at the target, because if you aim at the target, at least you'll hit something on the board. But if the board is over there with what you want and you flinging everything this way, of course you're not going to get what you want, okay? Have an expectation, but also hold it loosely. If you remember when I read that book about the alternative translations of Jesus's words, my favorite thing out of that book is healed are those who have softened what is rigid within. You got to soften what is rigid within. You cannot be a person who is rigid, because things don't always go as you expect. And if you have a rigid expectation, when it doesn't go how you expect, you will break. You will break. You will shatter. So to live a more healed life, to live a life that is actually a life of peace and ease, of flow and alignment, you have to understand that things aren't always going to go as you expect, but they still gonna go. You saw I had the Virgin Islands up that end part. They're gonna go whether you wanted to or not. No matter what the outcome was at my son's hospital stay, October 25th, Friday, October 25th, with me talking to you right now, was gonna come whether I wanted it to or not. The outcome was gonna outcome. Because that's what the outcome's supposed to do. So you have to be able to flex and flow and develop the tools and the skills within yourself so that you can operate in these this waves of life, this thing happening, right? If you crumble and you shatter when things don't go as you expect, boo-boo, how am I supposed to take good care of my son when I'm a shattered pile of dust on the ground? I'm trying to live a healed life, and healed are those who have what? They've softened what is rigid within. My expectations have to be loosely held in my hand. And no matter what, at some point, you have to give it up to something else, because you have no control over the matter. You have influence, but you don't have control. I had influence. I don't have control. I could do everything I could to curate, like I just told y'all, and experience the way I wanted to. But ultimately, once they wheeled my son into that surgery room, it had a daggone thing to do with me. I had already given it to God. I had already went to the throne room. I had already warred in the spirit. I had already fasted and prayed. I had already done everything in the physical to get us ready. And when they put him on the table and wheeled him into the room, it was above me now. You got to be able to handle things in life that don't go as you expect them to, because they're going to go anyway. They're going somewhere. Blue Isis says, Lord, help me soften what is rigid within. I'm trying to tell you. I have a lot of metaphors. And one of my favorite metaphors is that life isn't about waiting for the waves to stop. Life is about learning how to surf. Listen. Life go this way, you go. Life go that way, you jump on top of that thing. Go ride that thing. Get on top of it. Don't let it take you down. Get on top of it. Get on top of it. Okay. So that's the third thing I learned. Things don't always go as I expect them to, but they go. And hopefully that blesses somebody. You need to hear that. Yeah, girl. They gonna go no matter what. Tomorrow coming no matter what. Next week coming no matter what. Some things are outside of your hand. Work what you have in your hand. Don't not work what you have in your hand, because what you have in your hand is all you need. You have everything you need right now, because even if you need something else, you have the ability to procure that something else. But some things are outside of your hand. You have influence. Aim it in a direction, but you don't have control. So that's the third thing I learned. The fourth thing I learned, let me see which one. Whoop. I'm switching order. Give me a second. I want to do a different one as no, I just deleted one. Give me a second. So now I gotta think of one. Give me a second. Let me think. Because I have one, but I want to do that one last. Okay. I'm gonna go with this one because it's what comes to mind. This is what comes. Kawaii cutie baby said, "Take your time." I had something written down. I deleted it, and then I was like, "Okay, let me reconfigure the situation." Okay. If you stay rigid, you're gonna break. Snap like a dry cookie. Exactly. Okay. Soften, ma'am. Ma'am, soften. Everybody, flow, flex. Right. You're gonna have so much more peace if you realize that the point of this whole thing called life, the point of encountering waves and adversity, the point is not to rigidly try to control the outcome and then force it into existence and then come apart if it doesn't do like you. When you relax out of that feeling, when you relax when it comes to your life, what other people are doing, what other people are saying, how other people are showing up, how you are showing up, you start to give yourself and other people grace. You take your hand off of other people. First of all, you just be like, listen, God bless them. And then you just start to relax and realize, oh, I thought that was going to go this way. It didn't go that way. Oh, well. And then you just move. You just create so much more peace for yourself. Create so much more peace. Okay, let me say this one. The fourth thing that I learned is that medical professionals, let me say this. In past stays at the hospital, we have had some pretty tricky, complex, and negative situations with some of the medical professionals. Specifically, when his leg was broken, there was a whole thing. And I did a video. I'll go back and put the link to it. I'm not going to go into all that, but I have had positive and not so positive experiences with medical professionals because at the end of the day is going to end. Okay. And at the end of the day, medical professionals are people. And people be going through it. People be having life. Medical professionals be having bubble guts. They be going through stuff in their lives. They're real humans, right? And sometimes they don't show up their best in their situation. This time, thank God, there was only one little weird thing, that happened. But for the most part, God really gave me a team of humans that were great this experience. Thank God. Thank God. Here's what I learned though. Medical professionals are experts in their field of study. I am an expert in my son. Okay. You know anesthesiology like the back of your hand. You know orthopedic surgery like the back of your hand. You know physical therapy like the back of your hand. You know pulmonology like the back of your hand. I'm going to keep going. You know endocrinology like the back of your hand. You know hematology like the back of your hand. Okay. I know zyonology like the back of my hand. Matter of fact, like the inside of my room. Okay. I can zyonology y'all with the best of them with my eyes closed. Okay. I'm dag near a nurse at this point, y'all. I'm not a nurse for everyone else. I don't know nothing about the rest of these people in this PICU. I hope God has provided for every single one of these children. But when it comes to this kid right here, sorry, I felt that. You see, I had to do that a little longer. When it comes to this kid right here, we are a team. And I am equal with y'all on this team. I don't care what y'all talking about. When is round? 7:30, I'm there. Don't you dare start rounds without me. Don't you start. Okay? We standing there and talk in rounds and y'all blabbering out all kind of long words. And I said, "I'm sorry, could you say that in English? Because I didn't go to medical school, but I think what you said is incorrect." I didn't say it that way. But then they'd say it, and I'd be like, "No, actually, that happened at 9 o'clock this morning, and it actually happened at 4 o'clock." Like I was correcting and adding things in. Don't listen. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. I am clear on my assignment when it comes to my child. And I have a lot of feedback from medical professionals, mostly positive. Every blue moon, I get one of the people that feel like they being challenged. And it's not me being challenged. I guess they're just not used to parents being so like involved and informed. Okay. I have had people ask me, am I a medical professional? No, I am not. I am just an integrated advocate for my kid because all of you guys are coming and going at as disparate specialties. Because westernized medicine is not an integrated situation, unfortunately. I don't know why. In the year of our Lord 2024, we still doing everything one off. Y'all contradicting each other and saying stuff that's different. I'm the only person that's standing here as an integrated advocate for my son, listening to all the moving parts and bringing them all together. And that's what I do. And I do it well. I do it to the point that medical professionals have often been like, "Girl, what is this?" I recently had somebody be like, who was it? I think it was the insurance advocate had me on the phone and she was like, "You are out of this world." And I was like, "Why?" She was like, "Cuz you have all what?" She's like, "What are you doing?" And I keep saying, people keep telling me this. People keep telling me this. What are other parents doing? And listen, I'm not going to knock anybody because stress is stress and life is hard. And it's hard enough to get up to remember to floss your teeth at night. Okay? Much less remember to empty your son's uh, wound vac and drain and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot. Okay, it's a lot. So I get it. But at the same time, I know Zion better than anybody. Period. Do you hear me? Period. 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 So when we are coming together to get the best outcome for my son, I am an equal person on this team, an equal person on the team. Don't start rounds without me. And it was so funny because they wouldn't. The one time the nurse came and got me, I was in the room getting hot water. She was like, "We're about to start rounds." I was like, "I know that's right. Let me get out here. Get out here and stand up in the middle of y'all. Start asking all these questions." Okay. Team Zion. Okay. Because God assigned me to be that child's mother. I'm having a good time. Is it hard? Yes. Is it tiring? Yes. But I did it for love. Yeah. You asked me why I did it. I did it for love. Okay. I wish I could go tell somebody that I'd be their project manager at their job and put the fact that I'm a special needs mom down on the resume because I was a project manager in corporate America and being this child's mother ain't got nothing on what I was doing. That was nothing. That was nothing. I'm really good at Zionology. Zion is my son, if you haven't picked that up. Okay. Zion is my son. So that's the thing I learned. You said you you wish more parents would be vocal. I don't know what's happening because the doctors would be like, listen, I'm going to say 80% of the medical professionals that I encounter are react positively to how I show up when it comes to my son's medical care. They're happy that I have the information. They're happy that I'm tracking things with pictures. Like, for example, my son's current back wound. I'm the one that's dressing it. I'm the one that's cleaning it. I'm the one that's doing all stuff, right? I'm the one that's documenting it with photographs. You know why I'm documenting it with photographs? When he was a baby in the NICU, his back was open. It took 5 months to close. They sent us home at 5 weeks. I learned that for his back to close, removing the dressing constantly was messing up the slough and all that stuff that needs to happen underneath for him to heal. So pulling off dressing, the stuff would be on the bandage. So I decided I was never taking the dressings off in front of anybody except neurosurgery. But that didn't mean that we didn't have a million doctor's appointments. So the way I came up with a solution for that is whenever I had to redo his dressings at home, I would take pictures. And when I had to redo it for neurosurgery, I would take pictures. And I kept a binder with the photographs dated, and I would go to the doctor's appointment, the various doctor's appointments with this binder. The doctors were like, what kind of? And then I have a friend who is a physical therapist and she's also a professor. She knew I had done this. And I had 5 months of pictures of my son's spina bifida wound closing over time. She asked me if she could use the pictures for her class. Of course you can. Okay. Zionology. Okay. Anyway, the last thing I learned. So, anyway, let me say this, how you can adapt that to your own life is people can be an expert in their field. You are an expert on you. Trust yourself more. Trust yourself more, boo boo. That's how I put that in it. Okay. Just because somebody tell you something, if it don't fit for you, if it don't fit, you must have quit. I must be on one today. What's happening? If it don't fit, don't put it on. Okay. Just because this person is an expert in XYZ doesn't mean they're an expert in you. And you can create better care, a better experience for yourself. If you trust yourself and you show up fully as yourself, as an equal part in your team, the team of people you are building to curate the life that you desire, and not just as a victim or like a passive person laying back and letting people waste months and years. Don't. Okay? Don't. And the last thing that I put to the last thing I wanted to put, listen, if it doesn't fit, quit. Quit. Okay. Anyway, sorry. The last thing that I learned is nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. I think I absolutely said this on the last video, and I'm going to say it again. I wrote down none of this other stuff matters. My son is my priority. Nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. How many times did I sing this video? Nothing else matters. I think I definitely said it, so I'm going to say it again. It's worth saying again. When you are going through something like a surgery, like a hospital stay, like being a caretaker, like grief, like a loved one passing away, and it feels like the rest of the world is just moving on with their life, because that's what happened. You be in the hospital, everything be beeping and booping. People that work in medical spaces, how are you all not insane with all of the beeping and booping and boopity beeping? Okay. You be in this room, it barely be any sun, no sunshine when she's gone. It be rough. And everybody's outside eating their big back food and doing what they do, and you sitting in here. But it is amazing how, if somebody had said to you, clear off 2 weeks on your calendar for XYZ, you would have been like, I can't do it. I don't have the time. We don't have the time. I don't have it. But all of a sudden, when something pop up, and last time I think I said this, it was emergent. His leg was broken. And so it was like, we had to clear it off. This time we knew it was coming, but the time kept, the time for surgery kept moving. So we didn't exactly know when it was going to happen. But no matter when it happened, it had to get cleared off. You had to go. If you were not a priority, you had to go. And it just continues to show me what is most important to me in my life. And I'm not saying my son is the most important thing, because me and God, okay? God is the most important thing. The divine alignment with the divine is the most important thing to me, right? I'm not going to put my son or myself in the place of the divine. But let me tell you what, he high up there, okay? When I tell you I clear everything out, I tell everybody no. I tell everybody no. You get a no. You get a no. You get a no. You get a no. And you get a no. All God's children get a no, because I can't prioritize everything, but I can prioritize some things. And if I know what is important to me, then I need to live a life that actively demonstrates that. And my son is important. That's why ever since he's been out of the hospital, every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, I get up out of my bed and I go into his room, and my husband and I change his position in the bed. Change position, new positions, working for me. Listen, we off the rails. I don't know what's going on with the music in me today because they were doing it in a hospital. It's to make sure that he has low to no pressure on his back for extended periods of time in the same position. I've been doing it for 2 weeks and I will continue to do it until they tell me to stop. And then I go back in the room and I go back to sleep. You know why? He's a priority. I hunt down the food that the man will eat because he's a priority. Other things are not a priority. Nothing else is mattering. It's amazing how you could say you don't have time for something, but what you don't have is, help, Lord. It's not that you don't have time for things. It's that it's not a priority. You ain't made it a priority. You're not uncomfortable enough. I'm not going to go there because that's a whole nother conversation, right? You haven't it hasn't caused you enough discomfort to actually act. No, God said go there. It's not that you don't have the time. You have the time to talk about how it's bothering you. But your talk and your walk aren't matching up just yet. When something pop off and you need to create time for something and it shows itself to be a priority, it's amazing how all of a sudden no is the answer everywhere. When I'm in that hospital, I don't care who I told I was going to do something. No, I'm sorry, I won't be able to. I apologize. Just boop, boop, boop. You could do the same thing in your life outside the hospital. If something is actually an important, high priority part of the life that you want to create moving forward, the same way you could shut ish down because you up in this hospital for a week or two, you could shut ish down for a weekend. You just don't want to. If you need to make time, you will. Exactly. And I'm not saying this to chastise anybody. I'm saying this because this is a lesson I have had to learn and a lesson that I continue to learn. It's a lesson that I continue to learn. I was laid off from my job in May. I put in for family medical leave on Friday and I was laid off on Tuesday. I put in for the family medical leave so that I could go do my son's surgery in May. Well, when I was laid off on Tuesday, I was like, well, what the hell? Dang, y'all ain't even wait a week. Okay. And then but then I didn't go ahead and get another job. You know why? Because I was like, actually, it kind of makes sense for me to not have a part-time job right now because I need to be able to take care of my son. All the previous times that we were in the hospital with my son, I was either taking time off from work, juggling shifts, like in the hospital, trying to like get other people to cover my shift while I'm in the hospital room, or working. It's amazing how you could clear stuff right off. I was like, oh, let me not get another job right now, like a part-time job. Let me just work this other stuff I'm doing. Okay. Because I knew what the priority was. Okay. That's it, you guys. Those are 5 things that I learned during my son's surgery. Number 1, learn from your past. Don't reinvent the wheel. Number 2, ask for help, receive the help. Make sure it includes a clear yes and a clear no. Don't just take everything everybody's giving you. Tell them what you need. Tell them what you need. Number 3, things don't always go as you expect, but they're going to go anyway. Okay. Number 4, you might not be an expert in that field, but you're an expert in you. Trust yourself more. Show up as an equal in the team of humans that you take counsel from. Trust yourself more. And number 5, none of this matters. What your priority things should be getting priority time, priority focus, priority vision, priority intention. It might not be that you can't get anything done. You might be trying to do too many things, boo-boo. And half of them things you're doing, you don't even care about. Are you obligated to somebody else's vision more than you are to your own? I don't know why that just came out my mouth, but it was for somebody. Catch it. Are you busting your butt for somebody else's vision and you ain't even creating your own? My vision includes the healthiest, best outcomes for my son. That is part of what I create when I make decisions. Yeah, yeah. You heard me say that I'm a coach for Black and West Indian women. I help Black and West Indian women change their life. Okay. That's what I help them do. And last year I did a planning retreat. I hosted it several times, some with live videos, some pre recorded. And I hosted a few women doing monthly accountability calls. We did our last monthly accountability call last Sunday. And those women were like, girl, this right here is the jam. This is the juice. The monthly accountability calls coupled with the planning retreat, they were like, the planning retreat is fire because it helps you get clear on what you're trying to do. The monthly accountability calls with me, I stay on that. I stay on it. They were like, if I had not been coming to these calls, I may have just put aside what you made me come up with in the planning retreat, and I would not have come this far. There's one lady who went back and watched each accountability call over the months and was shocked. She was like, girl, I'm looking at me in January. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I'm talking about stuff in March that I don't think I could get done that I did 3 months ago. I know. So anyway, all of that to say, I am a coach. I help Black women change their lives. If you need your life changed, thepineapplecrowns.com. The coaching membership is open right now. What else? Earliest bird pricing for the planning retreat is coming up. That'll open in November. It'll be the cheapest that you can get the planning retreat in December. And this year it will include all the accountability calls because I realize doing it separate, y'all ain't gonna do the calls. And then I don't want y'all to pay me for something y'all don't change your lives. Okay, I'm out here creating all this goodness. I want y'all to do it too. Also, you heard me say I'm about to be a certified life coach. So you're about to get certified life coaching. Okay. I'm going to try to be as serious as possible while I stay on an ass. ThePineappleCrowns.com. Mark your calendars. November 1st is when earliest bird pricing for the December planning retreat will be coming up. The December planning retreat will be held December 13th through the 20th, and it will be the only planning retreat that has the live calls. It will also include a monthly accountability call from January to October of 2025. And when you get the earliest bird pricing, it'll be the cheapest that you can get it. The price will go up $30 every single week until the planning retreat. Okay, so mark your calendar as November 1st, thepineapplecrowns.com. I will see you there. Also, if you join the membership, you get all kinds of good stuff. Go out there, you'll see, including all sorts of courses on healing your mother wound, on boundary setting, on answering the question of who are you, identity work, and who you are. I have guest coaches that have come and talked to us. There will be more next year. I'm planning all that stuff out. Amen. And I am excited to work with you. Okay. Oh, one-on-one coaching is also coming back in January. Okay. I'm excited about that as well. So I'm working all that stuff out on the back end. You are welcome, ma'am. I almost called your government name. Okay. Blue Isis, I almost called you by your government name. I almost did, but I didn't do it. All right. Be well, you guys. Be encouraged. Check the information box for all the links for everything you need to know. And here are, I'll show you the normal one. A pineapple. Bye, y'all.